It's Bengals and Chiefs on Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium. Let's dive into our keys to victory. And yes, I will give a prediction as the Bengals look to make it two straight back-to-back AFC Championships. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com. Thank you so much for watching all week long. We have a ton of videos, whether it was the OT with Elise Jesse, where she sat down in an exclusive interview with Bengals offensive line coach Frank Pollock, Joe Goodberry breaking down the magnificent offensive line film and what Joe Burrow did against the Bills on Bengals on the Brain, which airs every Tuesday, or all of our locker room stuff, from Jamar Chase to Joe Burrow to Joe Mixon to T. Higgins to, well, me reacting and officially declaring Bengals-Chiefs a rivalry. We've had a ton this week, and now it's time, outside of our game day interviews, where we will do a game day report from Arrowhead, pre-game, of course, and then post-game, we will have our post-game reaction. We will have Jamar Chase. We will have T. Higgins. We will have Joe Burrow. We will have Zach Taylor, all from Kansas City, which is why you want to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. It is time to get to our keys to victory. And my, oh my, what a 2-year run it's been, Bengals fans. And as good as this run has been, well, the Chiefs are on an even better run because this is their 5th straight AFC Championship game. They've just found a way to host and host and host these AFC title games, and they host again on Sunday, 6:30 kick. And key number one, if you're the Bengals, you got to put 9 in position to be 9. And that's right. Shocker. Keep Joe Burrow upright. It's been the key of all keys for years and years, it seems like, and certainly during the Joe Burrow era. And if you protect the quarterback, don't let Chris Jones just completely dismantle this game, completely go crazy and ruin your game plan, well, then it's gonna go a long way. For Frank Clark is going to test this offensive line as well. Carlos Dunlap is going to test this offensive line as well. Not like they're awesome players at this stage of their careers, but they're at home. And role players, what do? They play better at home. That's any sport. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the communication along this offensive line. If you can keep Joe Burrow upright, he's going to be able to throw darts, throw it all over the field, and drop dimes, like we've seen him do in recent weeks. And it's going to be much harder. I think it's going to be much, much harder this week to do that than it was last week against the Bills, because they have a superstar in Chris Jones. And they have former stars like Frank Clark and Carlos Dunlap that can still show flashes here and there, especially, again, when they're at home and can take advantage of young tackles and communication issues. So certainly something to be aware of. And 1A, so if 1 is protecting Burrow, 1A, how about you give him some balance? Having the running game last week was a cheat code and is a cheat code for Joe Burrow. If Burrow can lean on the run like that, and Mixon can average, let's not even say the 5.3 that he averaged. Let's drop it down nearly a yard to 4.5. That is going to go such a long way into keeping the Chiefs off balanced, into giving Burrow the ability to pick and choose where he's going to go, and to be patient and methodical and pick up first downs and tire out this Kansas City defense, and then throw it over the top when he does get single coverage and get one-on-one coverage on the outside with Jamar Chase or T. Higgins or even Tyler Boyd in the slot. So that's 1A. Key number 2, well, you got to find a way to continue to contain Patrick Mahomes. And there's been so much talk this week about his injury, about everything that's gone on with that high ankle sprain. Oh, he taped it. I heard he taped both ankles, so you couldn't tell how taped the one is with all the cameras and stuff around. Whatever. He was a full participant. The Bengals are treating him like he was fully healthy. That's how they should treat him. So guess what? You go into this game, you need to try to limit what he can do. The Bengals have done a good job of this defensively 3 times. They've won 3 straight, and they've limited him in a half here, a half there, and really held him in check for a decent amount of that game in Week 13. Can you continue to do that? Because if so, this team, if they're not giving up a ton of points to this Chiefs offense. I think this Bengals offense is going to be able to score against the Chiefs defense. So can you contain Patrick Mahomes? And by the way, that might not be, normally it's keep him in the pocket. If that ankle's injured and he's barely being able to move and hopping like he did to hand the ball off like he was last week, he was literally skipping after handing the ball off. If it's like that, then maybe you do try to blitz him and get him off his spots. But traditionally, you want to keep him in the pocket, and Lou Anarumo has done this a lot. Drop 8 and make Patrick Mahomes sit there, and then that pass rush gets there. Key number 2A, since I guess we're going to do 1A, 1B, or 1A, 2A, Trey Hendrickson. You need to kick Orlando Brown Jr. right in the face. You need to dominate that matchup. You really do. Because this interior of the Chiefs' offensive line is just scary good. Whether it's Joe Thuney, who didn't play in that Week 13 matchup, whether it's Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, they are young, they are physical, they are tough, and they are tough to contain. And they protect Patrick Mahomes. They open up running lanes for Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon, and that's the scary part. We'll get to McKinnon more in a second, but 2A is you got to have Trey Hendrickson get pressure, because I'm not sure anyone on the interior is going to be able to do it. Sam Hubbard will see, but if you could have Hendrickson do it, well, then it takes some pressure off of DJ Reader, who is going to have his hands full this week, as good as he is. Key number 3, well, of course, you got to limit Travis Kelce. You can't let Travis Kelce go off. And he had 14 catches last week, nearly had 100 yards. That just can't happen. You can't have him get that many touches. But it's not just Kelce. Jerick McKinnon is arguably the most underrated running back in the NFL. He dismantled me in fantasy this year. I'm sure he dismantled a lot of people. If you scooped him up off the waiver wire, you're saying the exact opposite. He might have carried you to a championship. He is so dynamic out of the backfield, and the Chiefs use him in so many different ways, and it's tough to worry about him and all of their other weapons. That's one that you certainly want to slow down. Travis Kelce is obviously 1, 2, and 3 on the options list. And then you have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Kadarius Toney, a former first-round pick, all guys they use. But Jerick McKinnon has gotten a lot of touches, especially in the red zone. Can this Bengals defense in the red zone continue to hold up like they have all season? That would go a long way as well. Look, of course you want to win the turnover battle. That goes without saying. I could say that key every week. But the other 3, they're just huge. Can you protect Joe Burrow? If you can do that and get a little bit of a running game going, you feel really good about the offense. On defense, if you can find a way to get some heat on Patrick Mahomes, absolutely do it. You want to contain him and then find a way to get some heat on him. Trey Hendrickson, I think that has to be the guy. And then obviously you want to contain Travis Kelce, not let him go off. And Jerick McKinnon is one of those underrated guys that could come up big in a game like this. So linebackers are going to be tested. Safeties are going to be tested. And the secondary is going to be tested as well. I'm going to get to my prediction for Sunday's AFC Championship game in just a second. But this video, well, it's brought to you by Fantasy Life. Fantasy Life knows how you feel about ruling the jungle, so they're going to give you some action in the wild. By using the link in the description, you can get your first bet of up to $1,000 paid back in bonus bets if you don't win. All you have to do is use the link. Again, get your first bet of up to $1,000 paid back right now if you don't win with Fantasy Life. As long as you're 21 or older and located in Ohio, it is that easy. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Going undefeated in November and December is big, but the law of the jungle takes new shape in January. The Bengals, well, they're trying to stay undefeated in January, complete January undefeated. And if you want tips, betting picks, and more ahead of Super Sunday, Championship Sunday, well, subscribe to the Fantasy Life newsletter at fantasylife.com. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and the rest of the Bengals have silenced the critics to this point. Will they keep it up? Click the link in the description right now and get the Fantasy Life newsletter. I think they keep it up. I do. I think that this Bengals team is special. And last year I picked them against the Chiefs, and I thought that the Bengals just had the Chiefs' number. I don't necessarily feel that now. I just think that the Bengals are the better team. I think they have a quarterback that is just as good, and you could, it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other on who's better between Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. And so when you have that, I think that this Chiefs defensive line is going to give the Bengals offensive line some trouble, especially early on. But I expect Burrow to rise above that. I expect Jamar Chase to make some game-changing plays at Arrowhead. And he didn't see a lot of double coverage in that Week 13 matchup. It was his first game back. This is a game where if you don't see that much double coverage, good luck, because Chase is going to be open. I think they'll double him, which is going to open things up for T. Higgins. It's going to open things up for Tyler Boyd. This is a young Kansas City Chiefs secondary. And Hayden Hurst popped up on the injury report. We'll see if he can play or not. I think he'll be able to. I saw him in the locker room on Thursday. So we'll see there. But I think this offense should be able to move the ball. And they should run it. They were able to run it Week 13 against the Chiefs. We were able to run it last week as well. I don't think they'll run it to the level that they did last week, but I think they'll be able to run it. I think this offense is going to play at a pretty high level. Maybe they have a turnover. You don't want to lose the turnover battle on the road, so as long as you can keep it 50-50, if you give up one, make sure you get one. I think that the Bengals will be okay there. And ultimately, I just expect them to make a play, whether it's defense in Sam Hubbard or Jesse Bates or Trey Hendrickson or DJ Reader or Logan Wilson or Jermaine Pratt, and it was Pratt in that Week 13 game that forced the Travis Kelce fumble. Whoever it is, someone's going to step up and make a huge play, and when they do that, the Bengals are going to take advantage. It's what they've done, and it's what they're going to continue to do. Give me the Bengals 30-27. Evan Money Mac McPherson makes the difference and kicks 2 field goals and what would it be? 2 field goals and 3 extra points for the second straight week is what it would be. And or 3 field goals, excuse me. It would be 3. So there you go. I think that they're going to move the ball. And I think Evan McPherson is going to be just fine in the cold weather. We'll see. But it's going to be cold, like 5 degrees I saw at Arrowhead. We're going to be there. If you see us there, make sure you come say hi. I will be on the field before the game. And, I'll have a pregame video getting you all set with Bengals information. If they elevate anyone from the practice squad, if there's any new injury updates, because Alex Cappa-Jonah-Williams out this week, that's not surprising. Trey Flowers set to be back this week, it feels like, so that's a good thing. It's going to be a tough game. There's no doubt about it. And it could be, I thought last week might be the game of the year. This could certainly be the game of the year. I'm picking the Bengals. I'm picking them to win by 3, 30-27. For more, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for all of our post-game coverage. No one does it as good as Cincinnati Bengals Talk when it comes to Bengals game day coverage right here on YouTube. You're going to get interviews, clips that you're not going to see anywhere else. Certainly not at the volume that we're putting out. So we try to give you all the latest and greatest Bengals news, information, and more. So thank you so much for watching, as always. And for Andrew Fox Miller, who busted his tail this week, I'm James Rapien. We will talk to you on Sunday, game day, where it's Bengals Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium with an AFC Championship on the line.